Now I wanted to get this video out ASAP because a certain someone might not be a college coach soon. And although I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, I guess Urban Meyer makes my top 10. This video is going to be quick, fast-paced, and to the point. So if you're a Notre Dame fan who can't keep up or uses the wrong "to" in your sentences, maybe this one isn't for you. Here are the top 10 current college football coaches in my opinion, which is a good opinion. At number 10, I have David Shaw, who in the offseason stars in the hit television series show Hawaii Five-0. 5-0 though is not how David Shaw and the Stanford Cardinal like to start the season. In fact, in the last 3 seasons, they've started 4-1, 3-2, and 3-2 again, which isn't going to help them make the playoffs out of a relatively weak Pac-12. While most people would have Shaw higher on their list, I think he's a little bit overhyped, and his failure to sniff the playoffs is a big reason why I can't put him higher than number 10. Number 9 on the list is Kyle Whittingham. I get it, he lost 6 games last season, but 3 of those losses were less than 3-point losses to Stanford, at USC, and at Washington. If Whittingham were anywhere else other than Utah, you'd understand why I put him in my top 10. My guess is that in the future, he'll have the opportunity to display his genius outside of Mormon land. And he'll probably crush it. Number 8, Mark Richt. There's nothing more to say really other than the man knows how to lead a team, and according to my female friends, he's attractive. I don't know. What I do know though is that he's bringing back the U and attracting fans to the stadium that is 20 miles away from campus. That is ridiculously far. Who plans this stuff? At number 7, throw me in some Paul Chryst. I like this dude. He doesn't say much and he lets his players do the talking. You gotta respect that. Yes, he's at a solid 7 spot right now, but if he continues his success, I'm gonna have to move him up a few notches next year when I do this again. 7 seems about right. That's where the Badgers will begin after 3 straight 10+ win seasons under Chris's leadership. At number 6, Billy Bob Thornton. I think that's Mark D'Antonio. Thornton led Permian all the way to the semifinals, not the finals as the movie suggests, without Boobie Miles. What a bug! What a bug! They lost to Carter 34-28 when Mike Winchell decided to throw an incomplete pass when the lane was there to just run it in for the go-ahead score. Still, Billy Bob Thornton is a decent coach who has led an inferior team to low levels of respectability. Number 5 is Dabo Swinney. Clemson fans are gonna hate me for this one. Look, we know the accolades. 7 straight 10-win seasons, 3 straight playoff appearances, 2 times in the national championship against Alabama, and 1 hoist of the big trophy. But I'm torn here because how much of the success should be credited to Dabo as opposed to his players and his excellent coaching staff, including the nation's #1 get-back coach. Get back, you don't know me like that. Yeet, yeet. Woo, woo. I ain't playing around. I think Dabo's pretty dang good, but I'm not convinced he's a top 3 caliber coach, and I may never be. Number 4, Jimmy Harbaugh. Yeah. Call me a homer all you want. Here are his records with the San Diego Toreros. Here they are at Stanford. The previous 3 years before he got there, they had 10 wins combined. With the 49ers, he had 3 NFC championship appearances and a narrow 34-31 loss in the Super Bowl to the Baltimore Ravens. And now at Michigan, he's averaging 9+ wins a season after taking over a 5-7 football team. Say what you want about the guy, but he can flat out coach, and he's a winner everywhere he goes. Which leads me to my number 3, Nicholas Saban. Oh, surprise, surprise, huh? That one left you more speechless and confused than an overly excited John Madden clip.
It's like the hokey pokey. You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you put your right foot in, you shake it all about, you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, boom. That's what that's all about.
Now the Saban you've come to know has had 12 or more wins in 8 of the last 10 seasons, and those other 2 seasons he had 10+ wins after initially starting 7-6 with Alabama. However, we have to stop taking what he's done with the Tide as the end-all be-all. While he has certainly turned Alabama around in a big way, they were an already established tradition. What I'm saying is, any one of these coaches on my top 10 list have the capability of doing the same thing that Nick Saban did at Alabama. What about with the Dolphins when he went 9-7 and 6-10? What about at LSU when he was pretty good but nowhere near what we've seen out of him in Tuscaloosa? What about at Michigan State where he fit the Spartan norm of being just barely above average? Here's the best question, and really open up your mind to this. What about Saban is so genius that makes you think he's the best coach in the game today? His scheme is pretty basic and he has nothing but 4- and 5-star players surrounding him. A lot of coaches could win with that. Actually knowing X's and O's though, actually being a great-minded coach, I'm just not as convinced as everybody else, or brainwashed. I think he'd be just another guy in the top 10 if he was anywhere else but Bama, and he's already proven that in his past. Someone who is good at those X's and O's though is Chris Petersen, my number 2. If Urban Meyer does get canned, I would be legitimately worried that Ohio State would target Chris Petersen. While Ohio State is bound to get a really good coach, he would be the one guy that I'd be like, please don't. If you've watched his progress at Boise State and at Washington, you know that if he ever ended up at a big-time football program, the nation would have to be on high alert. He's an absolute wizard with the offensive playbook and somehow manages to coach up a top 10 defense every year despite a lack of 4- and 5-star recruits. And despite losing a lot of studs on his team as of late. I mean, come on, who could forget the trick plays against Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl? A cross-pattern hook and ladder? A halfback pass? The Statue of Liberty play to complete a 13-0 season for the Boise State Broncos? Plain and simple, he's coached Boise State to 7 10-plus win seasons and Washington to 2. He's also had a playoff appearance with Washington, which is pretty impressive. If he could make a heck of a pizza with 4 ingredients, imagine what he could do with 8. That's an analogy for if he had more ingredients or more better players, he would do bigger things with that team. Okay, let's move on to number 1. At number 1 is the man, the myth teller, the legend, Urban Meyer. I can't stand the guy. He's smug, he's arrogant, he's rude. He lobbied for Florida to make the championship game while Lloyd Carr took the high road and got screwed, and his morals suck. He's an enabler, he could care less about his players becoming great young men, he can't shut them up, and he can't control his staff.
Honestly, this is my last game in the shoe. I mean, there's no chance of me coming back next year.
I mean, I told him that the police weren't moving forward with it, and because there's nothing there, I didn't do anything.
But I'm not ranking these guys' morals, I'm ranking these guys' coaching ability. He's been absolutely outstanding everywhere he's gone, he's won big time everywhere he's gone, and he beat the guy that you all crowned number 1 with a 3rd-string quarterback. So, simply put, Urban Meyer is the best college football coach in the game today, but he may not be tomorrow. What up? I hope you enjoyed that video, even if you didn't agree with my opinion. I have a strong one, and you have a strong one as well. So, life is tough in the comment section. Let's meet below and grab a helmet. It's football season! 3 weeks, baby. Go Blue.